How easy was pornography to come across?
Oh boy.
Yeah, oh boy. It was super easy.
Like, Mom, Dad, don't watch this.
I know.
I had a trunk, and I had ways to hide it, and we had different methods of finding it.
We all congregated at this one guy's house because he had a VHS tape that had something on it that had been recorded from Cinemax.
Hey, let's go up to your uncle, go to the bathroom up there. We take a Playboy in there, put him in our thing, run down the alley and look at it.
She brought out a few magazines. Quick, quick, you can look real quick. Oh, somebody's coming, look at this. And it was a Playboy magazine, and I was like, good night, what are they doing?
And we thought, this is our moment.
You had to be MacGyver to, like, you know, to get it, hold it, keep it.
But they had those sex hotlines that you could call.
Oh yeah, the 1-900.
They would like advertise it on the late night TV.
But this was, again, a plan, like a detailed plan that had to be enacted.
There was no other way to get access to this sort of thing.
In the 50s, we had pinup girls, Bridget Bardot, Marilyn Monroe, and 60s we had girly magazines, and then in the 80s we had VHS, and then there were chat rooms with webcams, and now we have cell phones in kids' hands.
All the physical barriers, be it physical location, right? Be it proximity, all those sorts of things, be it people, maybe they had access to it, right? None of those barriers exist anymore.
I mean, it's completely different now. I mean, it is like, it's all video, and it's all, I mean, watching XXX videos are a lot different than looking at a Playboy magazine.
The Australian study that found that about half of children ages 8 to 16 had exposure to pornography, and many of those were actively seeking it out.
27%, if you look at the unfiltered internet, 27% of all video content on the unfiltered internet is pornographic or explicit in some way. If I imagine every day growing up, there was a coffee table in my living room, and there were 4 magazines on that coffee table. One of them was pornographic, and 3 of them weren't. And my parents just hoped every day that I didn't look at the wrong one. That is what the unfiltered internet is for kids today. We have put little boxes of porn in their pockets, under the guise of safety, under the guise of overprotection, under the guise of I have to get in touch with my kid all the time, every day, 24/7. We have given them access to pornography that far exceeds anything that we ever were exposed to.
What about porn? Do guys all watch porn?
Okay, I didn't even realize that, but pretty much every guy has like an addiction to it, but no one talks about it. So say I'm like talking to them about it, and they'll be like, I'll be like, oh, like does that guy do it too? And they're like, yeah, and I'm like, that sweet innocent boy watches it too, like everyone does. No, like everyone watches it.
How many guys and girls do you guys know that watch porn?
I'd say all guys, pretty much.
I think I know one guy in my school. I think I've talked to one that I can confidently say hasn't, and nobody else.
You know, it's very prevalent, and like everybody knows it.
They watch porn for fun. They don't even watch it for any sexual release. They just watch it to watch it.
Do you think parents really have any clue of how significant of an issue pornography is in kids?
No, they're pretty clueless. Yeah.
Right?
In 2019, porn sites received more traffic than Amazon, Twitter, and Netflix combined each month. 26% of adolescents aged 13 to 17 actively seek out pornography.
What's that? What
weekly
percentage?
or more.
It is on every platform, even the platforms that parents think it's not on. Just for example, Twitter, which is one that most adults probably use. They probably know Twitter.
Snapchat is where explicit content on Pornhub lives just seconds away from every user through backdoors within the app. The app knowingly allows a well-documented list of porn performers to make thousands of dollars daily through their premium Snap accounts.
The people behind pornography know how to optimize their content for search terms.
Pornographers, any new technology that comes out, they immediately saturate it. They know about it before, as it's getting ready to come out, and they are ready with every strategy to saturate it.
What age did like watching porn become common?
I'd say 7th grade.
Yeah, middle school.
9th and 10th grade, I remember guys being like, yeah, like I had an issue in 7th grade, and I'm like, I'm sorry, what?
What I say to parents is it's time for every parent on earth to leave the ignorance of the land of if. and embrace the reality of when.
Do you think kids are using pornography as sex education?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I feel like they don't want to like talk to like a parent or like a guidance counselor or anything like that because it's awkward. Like it's an awkward topic to talk about.
Like I said, I have 3 classes right now, and they all are going like over like sex ed type things, and it's really boring. So a lot of the times I just kind of like tune it out.
This is a tool for sex education for a lot of children. They are learning so many wrong things, not only about sex, but about relationships.
Guys, especially our age, like, they just like watch porn to like be fulfilled in their own ways. So then they're just like if my girl can't do the same thing that these people are doing, like, then something's off. I don't want to be compared to like a porn star. Like,
Analysis of the 50 most popular porn videos found that 88% contain physical violence and 49% contain verbal aggression, mostly against women.
There's like certain guys that I've hooked up with, and I'm like, this is really aggressive, like this is too much for me. And then I'm like, and it's just terrible. I'm like, this is so bad. Like, because I haven't had sex yet, like people, or like the guys will like ask, and I'm like, no, I don't want to do that with you. And they're like, are you kidding me? Like, they get so mad.
Guys get this image in their head that that's how intimacy goes and that's how sex goes. And
there's definitely a bigger population of guys that feel that way now than there were even like 5 years ago.
The science is still emerging, but I just happen to live in the camp that when young people are exposed to large amounts of pornography, it shapes the way that they see other people.
I feel like a lot of porn does, I guess, show the woman as more submissive, and it kind of puts that idea, I guess, in boys' minds.
It just leads to guys objectifying women a lot, you know? And then they forget about the whole relationship part, and that's all they think of now is just sex, because that's all they've seen.
Like, I know we've been talking about like a lot of like guys are like into pornography, but like a lot of girls are too.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Like, I don't even think parents have like the birds and the bees talk anymore, because kids will know about it by the time they're like 8 if they have access to social media.
But it's just faster now, and it's younger.
20% of youth report that they came across it, children, you know, that it was unwanted.
But we can now be in different places, and we're in a group chat, and somebody shares it, everybody's got it if they open it.
And in the elementary schools that I'm in, I typically hear counselors saying, yeah, we've got kids that are already seeking it out in the elementary school age.
Sex is not something that is easy to talk about with your kid at any age, but it's something that you absolutely have to talk about, and at a younger age than you might think.
This mother proceeded to tell me her son was 11 years old, but when he was 9 years old, he went to sleep over at a friend's house, a family that they knew quite well. And this son, his friend, showed him pornography, hardcore, really horrible stuff on the iPad at this sleepover, and then proceeded to practice that pornography on her son. That was when he was 9 years old. Okay, fast forward 2 years, he's now 11. He's never told anybody about this, but mom has noticed that my son just isn't happy anymore. And she sat down and had a conversation with him and found out through this conversation that for 2 years he had held on to this secret. And that he felt so much shame and guilt that there was something wrong with him, that he did something wrong. And so for 2 years he held on to this corrosive secret that started on an iPad. The #1 common denominator of those who abuse other kids is an early exposure to pornography. Because what they see, they feel neurologically compelled to do.
Guys just use you. It's true.
Right. We couldn't communicate in person because we'd like built the relationship online.
I had like the same experience, only after about 3 months, he asked for nudes, and when I said no, I don't send them, he dumped me.
For many young people, sexting could be considered the new first base.
Kids call it nudes, we call it sexting.
Yeah, no, everybody knows what it is. Everyone knows sexting's a thing.
My school, sending nudes is very common.
It's mainly between people who aren't actually dating.
Do you know of anyone who's been affected by that at all in your school?
Affected by sexting?
Yeah, like I've had an incident or a bad thing happen to them.
Well, yeah, like nudes of girls go around the school all the time.
Really?
Yeah.
We are seeing more and more young people that expect to jump right into sexual acts without the relationship portion before that, without getting to know each other, without going on that first date, without holding hands, without having that first kiss. They're jumping straight to send me nude photos, send me a video of you masturbating. And that's happening younger and younger.
But then 8th grade, there was like 2 different groups, and it was like the group of people that like did like send nudes or like did all these things, and then the group of girls that like didn't do it. And there was like just a very distinct, and it was 8th grade, and that's when it.
And that's what divided the groups was. Like,
honestly, yeah, and like now, like my brother's in middle school, and like I sometimes hear him, and then like a bunch of kids I babysit in middle school. Like it's happening younger and younger, and like
what ages now?
Like I mean, like 6th and 7th grade, like.
With sexting, while the studies typically focus on the ages of 12 and older, I've been in schools, elementary schools, where sexting has already occurred with 10 and 11-year-olds.
We have a lot of teachers and counselors come in, like trying to discourage us from doing that type of thing. But obviously people don't listen. Like if you have a teacher or just someone like telling you constantly not to do it, it makes you more just want to do it and like to try it out.
Is that amount of communication needed before a boy feels comfortable asking somebody by text for a nude?
You're pretty much lucky if you get about 2 weeks into talking to them before they ask.
Or even
demand.
like, sometimes they won't even just like talk to you. Like they just
demand it.
Yeah.
Or send their own without us asking.
Yeah.
What about guys? Do they send nudes?
Yeah, they're disgusting. Who wants to see that? Like, when you wake up.
I wish they would.
No, one time I was with a friend, and we were having a sleepover. Woke up. Good morning. It was 8 a.m. I was like, I don't need to see this.
They're more unsolicited. Like most of my friends have gotten them, and
I think like for girls, for the most part, get disgusted by it.
What do you think percentage-wise of girls have received them?
High percentage.
probably more than half.
Yeah.
More than half.
Do a lot of people you guys know send nudes?
In middle school, that was a huge thing.
Oh yeah, you guys had like huge problems.
Scandals.
Yeah. Like, they're like these rings almost. They like got caught, and the police would get involved.
In middle school, that's like the peak of like, which is totally messed up.
It's just so casual. But then when a girl does it, it's totally different and looked down upon, kind of.
Some girls I know, like, they just like won't say no because they're like scared of like the repercussions because they don't want to be yelled at or called a prude or like.
And you're constantly judged. Like that's so true. Like they're either like, oh well, she's a slut and will do anything, or like, oh, she won't do anything with guys. And there's really like no in between.
It's a no-win situation. If you give it to a boy and then you're a slut, then the girls find out about it, then you're cyberbullied by the girls. If you don't give it, then some girls will even jump on the bandwagon. You know, I gave it to so-and-so, what's the problem, why won't you do it? What do you do in that situation? Because you know you can't win.
I don't think people think it's a positive for doing that type of thing, but it definitely gives you a lot of clout. Like, you have a lot of attention on you, like good or bad. And so people definitely like want clout. They like do like almost anything just for people to like pay attention to them.
If the good girl sends Johnny something that she normally wouldn't, everyone's gonna be like, let's get more.
And then all the guys will go after her too.
Oh yeah, then she's got like 20 new ads on Snapchat, 3 new DMs.
But behind closed doors, people are like, she is a whore. And people act cool around her, but like behind closed doors, people hate her.
Let's say your daughter was dating a football player. She breaks up with him. She hasn't had sex with him, but he says, you need to give me a little something, something, some pictures, and then I'll stay in the relationship. So she does it, she gets pressured, and she does it. And they break up. Well, I talk to kids all the time. What happens when you break up with those pictures? Let me take it a step further. What happens when you break up with your boyfriend and his new girlfriend goes in his phone and finds your pictures? It gets distributed.
Especially with Snapchat, which was, you know, kind of more or less created for that exact purpose. It gives people a sense of, like, oh, it's not that serious, the pictures go away, but we all can realize now and look back and say, well, no, that's definitely not true.
Yeah, once something is out on the internet, social media will latch onto it, people will download it.
So it's like a Dropbox, and it was like, I guess some guy like went to our school, made it, and it's like just girls' nudes, just like just random people.
All the guys saved.
And you could, exactly. And there was like a list of like all the people that had accessed it, and like it was even like people that you wouldn't think really like good guys that you wouldn't think would like engage in that kind of stuff. But some girls had no idea that their pictures were like out in the open for everyone.
All of these naked pictures and videos guys get from girls they went to high school with. They're in their college dorm, they go on A9IB and they trade them like Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
This girl that I grew up with, she had a sex tape actually, and it was leaked. I remember even I, who didn't even go there, had access to it, but it was sent around, and we were freshmen.
One of my most hated terms is not my kid.
Parents suffer from a disease called the NMK syndrome. It's described as not my kid.
My kid won't do that. My kid would never. My kid's friends aren't like that. My kid's school isn't like that. You're wrong. Everybody's community is like that. Every school is like that. Every kid has the potential to do any one of the things that we're talking about here. No, even my own kid.
So in 1997, we had a guy come from Brentwood, Tennessee, drive up here to Naperville, met a 13-year-old at the corner of her block, took her to a hotel, raped her, let her go back home, and she told her parents that she met him on this thing called America Online.
Call now for America Online, a new way to use your computer.
I would just join games. He just friends random people. I would just join games for no reason and just go add friend.
Braxton does end up, I'll be in there and he's on the headphones playing Xbox and I'm like, who are you playing with? And he'll be like, I don't know, some kid.
Have you ever gotten creepy DMs from guys?
Yeah, all the time.
Have you been solicited by any creeps online? Like, have you?
Yeah. He was contacted by a stranger on Instagram.
Oh, like I saw your page and like I'm really like I'm interested in like sending you money for like in exchange for pictures.
I had people like DM me saying that I'm so beautiful and like he'll buy me whatever I want.
So we at BARC unfortunately detect issues around online child predation very frequently. Last year alone, we escalated 450 online child predators to law enforcement. And so we know that it's a common problem. Unfortunately, we think most parents underestimate the commonality of that problem.
We decided to go undercover as multiple children on social media and post innocuous content to see what would happen.
And basically just pushed go. We put everything live and we documented what happened.
Within the first hour of posting on Libby's accounts, 7 adult men contacted her. By the end of 9 days, that number was 92. The conversations ranged in severity from making sexual comments to sharing and requesting explicit photos and videos to manipulation and threats.
We had to deploy an entire team, around the clock to responding because the rate at which these messages came in was mind-boggling. And of course, when you're dealing with social media and the internet, it's a global thing. It's not just an East Coast thing or a US-based thing. There were men that wanted to talk to children for nefarious purposes at all hours of the day and night.
We tried it with younger personas as well, even an 11-year-old.
We launched our 11-year-old persona online.
It's 4:44 and go. One like from a guy whose profile photo is a penis.
So
let's see.
1 minute and 7 seconds. We have a message request.
Although sorry, 2 more requests just came in. How much time? A minute and 40 seconds?
Yeah.
How
old are you? You go to the profile, you know that is a child. It also says in the profile that the child is in 6th grade.
Another one.
It's just lighting up, like the inbox is just boom, 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 boom.
An incoming video call in less than 5 minutes.
I can't see you. Don't be shy.
They all say don't be shy.
This happens to all types of children. This is not just kids who might be at risk. Oftentimes it's a child who's simply bored in their bedroom at night.
And I cannot tell you how many children I see in their bedrooms on live stream with tons of people just watching them, asking them to do certain things.
When parents allow their kids to have that device in their rooms at night, where are your parents? Then come the grooming question, where are your parents? Are you on an iPhone or are you on an iPad? What school are you? What are you wearing? Oh, your makeup looks so beautiful.
It's not uncommon for grooming behavior to include showing minors images of pornography to help them to think that is normal. And then that can be a progression towards engaging them in sexual activity.
Do you want that? Do you want that as a parent, strangers in your child's room while you're sleeping? Would you leave the door open with a sign that says, my daughter's bedroom is the second one on the left, and then go to bed?
We have traded a false sense of safety and security for actually putting our kids in riskier situations.